So a little bit about myself, if you have not already met me, if we haven't spoken one-on-one on the phone, or if you haven't came to one of these webinars recently. My name is Yona. I have been a host on Swimply since 2020. So kind of that's most importantly for me, but I've also been on the Swimply team now for over 4 years. So what I love about that is I get to really see both sides of the coin here. I get to, on one hand, host on Swimply. I get to use the app day to day. Get to, see the maybe the little bugs, get the payments, all those things. I get to host strangers in my yard and really know what that feels like to, message them, host them, all that. And I love sharing that. And I share that as at every opportunity I can with the Swimply team behind the scenes of like, hey, as a host, this doesn't feel right. This needs a tweak. This is awesome. I love this. And then on the flip side, I also get to see everything that's happening in the background on the back side of things. And that's where I love to share that with you guys and hosts. And I've spoken to a lot of you on the phone, but also in these webinars, I like to just share as much as possible what's going on behind the scenes and how that feels as a host myself and share that with you guys. So again, let's quickly review the agenda for today. Again, the high level goal, let's just remember the theme here is being ready for the season. We're already seeing bookings pick up a ton. We're seeing bookings across the country. I personally, I'm located in Long Island, New York. So here we're not seeing bookings just yet, but hopefully we'll get an early summer. So fingers crossed for anyone out here on the East Coast. But we're seeing bookings in California, Texas, across the country really picking up much earlier throughout the year. As Swimply grows as a company, more and more people learn about Swimply and the bookings increase. And that's, earlier in the year, also, hopefully this summer as well. So the goal is to be ready for the bookings and have the best season yet. So we'll talk about unpausing your pool. I hope, hopefully most of you have utilized the pause feature if needed. If you're in somewhere like Miami, where you're open year round, then no need for that. But for someone like myself, based in New York, I use the pause feature at the end of the season last season to pause my pool, which makes it unavailable for people to book for a set amount of time. We'll talk about making sure your unpause date is correct, how to check your listing status, and make sure you're unpausing correctly come the proper time for you. We'll talk about managing your calendar. Again, most importantly, is to make sure your availability is set up right, especially early in the season. Are you open for bookings? When, do you want to maybe set a boost or a discounted price? We'll talk about managing your calendar. Your availability settings. This may be the most important. And especially I see this a lot going into the season that people don't have the correct availability settings to maximize their earnings. So we'll review that because I think it's so important and everyone should review that. We'll go through it together, but also feel free to take out your phone, go on your app and review it live with us as well, just to make sure you have all the correct settings. We'll talk about updating your listing for the season. Some new features that need updating, but also just general, same way, every year you want to do spring cleaning, you want to do spring cleaning of your Swimply account, what you want to update, how to update it. We'll make sure, you're fully ready for this season. And we'll also review some marketing tools. Some of you may be familiar with some of these. Some of these are new features, but we'll talk about host promotions, the fans feature, Instagram, Facebook, postcards. We'll go through all of that. Again, the goal is here so that you start off your season right with the right marketing. You start off strong, you get a bunch of bookings, and that rolls into an awesome season. Again, getting bookings early and providing an awesome experience will only, compound throughout the year. Hopefully those swimmers will come back to have a second and maybe even third swim. If they come in April or May, maybe they'll come again in June, July, and then maybe August or September. They'll tell their friends. The more people that know about your pool and have awesome experiences at your pool, it spreads the word. That's how Swimply works as a whole. As we, get more people talk about it. Hey, I just had the best experience ever. I rented a private pool. I felt like I was on vacation. I had the best date night with my wife. Whatever it is, you want to, get that flywheel going as early as possible. So, we'll talk about how to market, how to push that early, boost in bookings and keep that going throughout the season. All right, so the first thing that is really important that I just want to cover and make sure, and if you do not have the app, again, take out your phone right now. I know everyone has their phone within arm's reach. It's 2024. No one leaves more than a foot away from their phone. But please download the app. It is the best way to host. You get on-the-go notifications, manage bookings at any time, edit and update your listing from anywhere, take photos from your phone and add them directly to your listing. This is a big one for me personally. But the app is the best way to host. I also sometimes use my computer, but mainly I'm on the app. Response time is so important. So, being that I'm not always at my computer, sometimes I'm on the go, getting a notification on my app and replying directly in there is really important to me. Again, managing bookings, people want to change this and that. Sometimes it's last minute. If you're not at your computer, having the app is so important. And again, taking photos. We'll talk about photos and how important that is. But there is, if you're taking the photos on your phone, which probably 99% of you are, unless some of you are professional photographers, which I envy you. But if you're like me, you're taking it on your good old iPhone or Android phone. And it's just so easy to upload it directly from your phone to your listing if you have the app. If not, you have to transfer it to a computer, email it, then do it from there. So just please, if you don't already, download the app. Also, maybe you had the app last year. There were a bunch of updates posted since last summer. So go in, make sure your app is up to date. Go into the App Store or Play Store, click on it, make sure you have the latest update. You will not regret it. All right, so let's talk about unpausing your pool. Again, really quickly to review, pausing is the tool you've used to keep your listing visible in search but not bookable until a future date. So at the end of last season, I paused my pool and I set it to reopen sometime in May. I have to review my dates personally. So if you are close to unpausing, you want to double check to make sure that your unpaused dates are the correct dates. So the way to do that is check your listing status. You can go to Manage Listing, Host Settings, and Availability. You will see your listing status there. So be sure, this picture on the right side here, this pool is paused and off season, which your pool, if you are not available right now, should be. And you will see your listing is scheduled to go active on Tuesday, April 30th. So if you go into your app or website right now and you see that and you're like, wait a second, my pool is actually going to be available earlier. I'm going to push it earlier so I can start getting bookings earlier. It's pretty warm in LA. If you're in LA and it's pretty warm and you can push it earlier, I really recommend you do. Again, we're getting a lot of bookings much earlier than we did in past years. So if you are able to open your pool earlier, you are going to gain. I wish I could open it. It's still a little bit too cold here in New York. So I'm not able to yet, but if you are able to, update that thing, you would just kind of click on that and you can update the dates. Or on the flip side, if you're like, wait a second, I'm actually not going to be finished my renovations, or I'm not going to be able to open on April 30th, you can move that date the other way around. So really important to just go in, check your status. Maybe you're live and you actually didn't know, and you're like, shoot, I actually never paused my pool to begin with. You can still pause it now. If you're not going to open for another month, you can pause it and set the correct date for when you're going to be available. So just really important to go in, check that, confirm it's going to be good. You don't want to be paused until August, unknowingly. By mistake, you selected the wrong date and now you're going to be paused and no one's going to book you. And be like, hey, why am I not getting any bookings? And it's because your pool has been paused this whole time. So just make sure that this is the correct date. It's really, really important. All right, moving on to managing your calendar. So similarly to pausing, you also want to make sure your calendar is up to date. So what I would suggest you do is navigate to your calendar. Again, this is on the app, there's a tab, or on the website, you can go straight to your calendar and double check which dates you have blocked off. You also want to be sure you have your weekend days available. And I was just chatting today with the host about this, you can also select any specific holidays or special days you'd like to give a discount or even a boost on. For example, Memorial Day is coming up. That's a day that, maybe you have a weekday discount, and if it's on a Monday, you don't want to necessarily give that discount. So you can set a boost on those days to charge more for those days. July 4th, some of those really, really busy days that you want to set a premium for. Now is a great time to go in, just, double check your calendar, double check your dates, make sure everything looks good. If you're going out of town, block those dates now. It's just a good time to double check everything, make sure everything looks good. I also recommend, just a good tip here, is go in as a swimmer and check your calendar that way. That can be a really good way also to see what's available and what's not. Pretend, you can go preview your pool. You can go look for a date as if you're booking it. And you may see like, wait a second, the hours only start at 2 p.m. And, maybe you didn't notice that in your settings here on this end, and we'll talk about that. But it's a really good way to see what swimmers can see and when your pool is available for them to book. So I highly suggest, going into your calendar on your, host side, but also logging in as a swimmer and seeing that as well. Moving into some other availability settings, we'll talk about the general availability settings. So under availability, there are two kind of settings. There's the general availability settings and the advanced settings, which we'll talk about in a second. Both of these are so important. Cannot stress enough. It's something that is easily overlooked, and I've seen it too often be overlooked, and we'll talk about some examples here. But double checking this is really important. So again, just go into manage listing, under host settings, your availability, you'll see two sections there. We're going to talk about the general availability settings first. So the first thing right at the top you can see here is your available days. You want to make sure as many days as possible you have open, especially the weekends. 60% of Simply bookings happen over the weekend. So, you may be like, I want to keep the, Saturday and Sunday for myself and I'll host during the week. Right off the bat, you are, losing 60% of the possible revenue you can gain. So, having family swim day on a Tuesday versus on a Saturday can really, really, block it on Tuesday for yourself and your family to enjoy. Host on a Saturday and Sunday can really increase your earnings. So you want to just make sure, and again, it's very easy to overlook this and actually have some of these weekend days blocked off and not even know. So really, really good. Again, we're in the spirit of spring cleaning and, just refreshing everything, just double checking this, make sure that you have all your days available. You also want to select your space hours. Again, obviously, the more hours available, the more bookings you will receive. Double check this. Maybe you actually could open a little bit earlier, and that will benefit you. Or you could stay open a little later. Just double check, make sure you are open and available for swimmers to book. Update your advance notice. We suggest that selecting the lowest possible option here so that you can receive day of bookings. Those are very popular among guests. I'll say for myself, I personally have this at no advance notice necessary. And I cannot tell you how often I get bookings on the same day. I'll, wake up in the morning. It's a sunny day. I have an empty calendar and I'll just get in the morning. People are last minute planners, especially in the summer. Moms, they have their kids around. They're bored. They're like, shoot, what should we do today? It's a beautiful day. Let's go swimming. Let's book a Simply. Always, so many times I've woken up, empty calendar, and within the day, you just see like booking, and I'll end up with 4 or 5 bookings in that day. So if you have this set to, let's just say, for example, 12 hours or even 3 hours advance notice, my pool would not come up when they searched, pool, Simply near me, and they search it, my pool wouldn't come up because it wouldn't be available for them. Even 3 hours, if someone woke up and it's, maybe 10, 11 o'clock and they want to book a pool at 12, 1 o'clock, now my pool only shows available at 3 p.m. So they're like, I don't want to go at 3 p.m. So really, really try as much as possible to cut this to no advance notice as possible. If you need an hour, I do understand. I'll usually have someone near the house, but this cannot stress enough how important it is to allow early, small advance notice and last minute bookings because they happen so often. All right, moving on to kind of the next side of the availability settings, we'll cover quickly the advanced availability settings. So here you have at the top, as you can see, Instant Book. Highly recommend Instant Book. The data shows just on average that pools that have Instant Book turned on earn 30% more than pools that don't. This is because some swimmers search for Instant Book pools only. They only want to book something that they're going to book. They don't want to start messaging and requesting multiple pools. They just want to find something that is Instant Book and grab it when they can. Also, it just will mean that you automatically, as long as you're not canceling anything, have a 100% completion and success rate, which will then rank you higher in search because the success rate is one of the things. So, if maybe someone requested, but then you didn't respond quickly enough and then they canceled their request, then you lost one of those conversions versus if they're Instant Book, they're locked in right away. So if you can, definitely recommend doing Instant Book and just making sure you are on top of your calendar. Then future bookings. This is also a really important one, especially for now. So here's when you allow, and this is something I see all the time is overlooked by hosts, and hosts are wondering why people can't book their pool. Why is my calendar not open in July, in June? Why can't this swimmer that booked with me in the past book, he wants to book again? Almost always comes down to this. So you really want to double check this. Again, if you're following along in your app, double check this setting right now. If anyone came across it and it wasn't set to something that you didn't know, feel free to put in the chat as well, because I feel like this happens more often than we think. So this allows guests to book. So for example, right now, we're still in March, but there are a lot of people booking, graduation parties, birthday parties, etc. for, you know, this coming up summer. And those bookings are always, larger, higher dollar amount, and bookings that a lot of people really want. A kid's first birthday party is a big booking and probably a high dollar booking that you can make, 1,000 and more than that in one day. And you may really want to host that. But moms that plan those events really plan them in advance. So if you have this set to, let's say, only 3 months in advance, if the birthday is in July, then they will not be able to book your pool, and your pool will just not come up in search when they search, oh, July 15th, I'm making a party. So really important, especially in the winter and, as we come into spring, to allow future bookings. I have mine set to 1 year in advance. I would recommend doing that. But you can set it to whatever, 6 months, I think is another option that would work, that they can at least book this entire summer, but definitely double check that. And then here you also have your minimum booking length. You can raise this up to 2 hours. I would recommend keeping it short. I don't mind short bookings. I find them easy. They're low cleanup, quick turnaround, but it is something also to consider and look into. All right, let's talk about my favorite topic, updating photos. I cannot stress enough, if you were at the last webinar, if you've come to any of these webinars, I will constantly stress how important photos are. They are the most important part of your Simply listing. Not the title, not even the price. The photos are the most important part. That is what's going to drive swimmers to click into your pool when they're in search and book your pool, is having great photos. So even if you had great photos in the past, it is always, and I do this every year at least once, I try to do it more than once, is go out on the first sunny day that you can, spend the extra 30 minutes, spend the extra hour of your time cleaning up your pool, making it look really nice, and take a ton of photos. Take great photos. Also, maybe you say, oh, I have great photos from last year. Over one of the updates that we spoke about last time is you can now add, as you can see, 5 times more photos. So we used to allow only 10 photos. You can now get you can upload up to 50 photos on your listing. And photos can now be viewed by guests all together in a gallery. So kind of like you see here, this is the host view, but similarly, as a guest, they can kind of click into it and they'll see a full gallery. So now if you only have 10 photos, it actually looks much less than before. When you had to click through each one, 10 photos was actually a lot. But now that there's a gallery, it really, what we see here is almost 10. So if you scroll, you don't have more photos. So really, really important. Even if you had great photos in the past, go out on a sunny day, the first sunny day possible, clean your pool, spend the extra time, take photos. Just a few photo tips. Always hold your phone sideways like this. Really important. Do not take any picture like this, even if it's just the bathroom, the barbecue, an amenity. It's always good. Hold your phone sideways. Take a step back. Whatever you're trying to take a picture of, the pool, take a step back so that you see the space. I don't just want to see the water of the pool or just the diving board or just the slide. I want to see the whole space and how that couch or sofa relates to the space of your pool. So, take your time, clean the space, make it look really, really inviting, and, take a step back, take your time, take 100 photos, choose the best 50. It is worth it. Whatever investment of time you put into taking great photos will pay you back again and again. All right, let's talk about amenities really quickly. Maybe over the winter, you got a new barbecue, you got a new couch, you got a new water slide, you built a hot tub, you got a new pool heater, whatever it is. So a lot of hosts that I've spoken to have made some updates to their space. So again, it's important to get photos of that, but also make sure you're updating it in your amenities. So, maybe you got rid of something, you used to have a shower, now you got rid of it, whatever it is, make sure to add it or take it away. You can, again, amenities can be free amenities, which are included in every booking. You can also have some paid amenities. Maybe you want to start offering party decor. I see that often. We'll set up for your birthday party, balloons and tables and whatever. I see that often. I see that's a pretty successful amenity that I've seen. So if you want to start offering that, go ahead. You can create, custom amenities, put a price to it. Really good to, stay on top of this and make sure your amenities are updated. Cool. Let's talk about space features. So again, this is going to be under your managed listing. Everything we're talking about is under managed listing. So it's really good to just go to your managed listing, go through every one of these things. I'm calling out the most important ones that I feel are important, but it's really good to just go through everything and make sure everything is, up to par and what you want it to be. So underneath space features, we have added new space filters on the guest side. So if you haven't already, select all that apply to your space. So, pool features. Do you have a hot tub? Do you have a diving board? Do you have swimming lanes, a kiddie pool, grotto, waterfall, etc.? These will all go into the search when swimmers, if they want to filter, I want something with a diving board, with a kiddie pool, with, all these are filters that swimmers can use. So it's really important to make sure you put these in, and they will also show up on your, what we call the PDP, which is your pool display page. So it's really important to make sure, maybe you added something, a water slide, a pool hoop, a sauna, just make sure it's up to date. Everything is, there so that you're not selling your pool short and you're showing up in as many searches as possible and you're letting guests know, hey, this is what I have to offer. Now, something that is new, and if you came to our webinar, our last webinar last week about the new features, you'll see this here on the right side here, these stickers. So these are brand new. So even if nothing changed and you had this set up, it's important to go into the space features, scroll down to the bottom, and you'll come across these stickers that you see here on the right side. So stickers are a great way to ensure that you host the type of events that you want to host and the type of guests that you want to host. So if your pool, like let's say for myself, is really good for families, it's a smaller pool. There's a water slide. I have a ton of pool toys. I have my own toddler, so it's kind of like there's a gate for safety. It's like really the pool is made for kids. It's awesome for kids. So for me, I would select family gatherings. That's what is perfect for my place. Friends hangouts also really good. There's like a fire pit. There's a jacuzzi. People love hanging out in there. Photo shoots, video shoots, celebrations, corporate events. And maybe your space is good for parties. My space personally is not great for parties. It's a smaller yard. There's not a ton of space, not a ton of parking. So I wouldn't select parties because that's not what my space is great for. But other hosts, and I'm jealous of hosts that can do this, they have a large yard, a lot of parking, a big driveway, and they host bigger events and bigger parties. And those are the high dollar events. I've spoken to hosts who earn thousands per day, just by hosting these large events of 50, 60, 100 people. And they, make a ton of money that way. And so for them, they want to make sure they do select that party sticker. Maybe even if you can't host huge parties, but you can host, 20-person parties, you have a pretty big lot. It's important to make sure you are filling out these stickers because these directly correlate again with search filters and categories where your pool shows up. So really important. This is new. So even if you were up to date and on top of your listing last season, make sure to log in and fill out your stickers this year. All right, really quickly, I'll go over something really important that also was upgraded over the winter, but super, super important to double check this. This is like the main thing that leads to issues, I would say, is notifications and the notification center. So we spent a lot of time because we heard a lot of your feedback about not getting notifications being sent at the wrong time, a lot of feedback around the notifications. So we spent a lot of time working on the notifications and making sure they work correctly. So it may look the same, but on the back end, this notification center right here changed a lot. So our new notification center allows you to subscribe or unsubscribe from all types of notifications directly in the app. There's 3 main types of notifications. There's 3 types total, actually: emails, push notifications, and text messages. I highly recommend subscribing to all 3. Emails, personally, emails can be missed in the heat of the moment. I'll get to them maybe at the end of the day, but by then, as a host, we all know it's way too late. The swimmer wants to know, hey, how can I, can you lower the hot tub? If I'm seeing that an hour later, it's way too late. Text messages are really good. Again, you always have your phone, and push notifications. Personally, I love push notifications. It goes in there, I click it, it goes directly in the app. But definitely suggest going in there. As you click these things, like the push notifications, it will bring you to your phone settings where you'll have to allow notifications. So make sure you do that step as well. But really important, again, it's worth it. Go in there. Even if your notifications were on, go in there. It's under your profile. Go into your notifications. Make sure these are all checked off. Make sure it's all working. And if there's any issues, please reach out to us because we spent a lot of time making sure this works well, and we want to make sure that it does. All right, so we covered making sure your listing is set up correctly. You have the app downloaded, your notifications are on, you're good, you're set up for success. Let's talk about actually getting swimmers to your pool. So we'll talk about 3 main different ways to market your pool. We'll talk about in-app marketing, social media marketing, and we'll talk about out of home. So in-app, we have some exciting new updates from over the winter of different ways that you can promote and market your listing directly in the app. So easy, don't need to do anything, don't need to go anywhere. We'll cover some social media marketing strategies, which have worked super well for hosts in the past, and we'll have many more webinars on these throughout the summer if you really want to lean into this and really grow your business this way. It is the best way to grow your business, and hosts have been loving it, but it does take a little bit more time. And we'll talk about marketing out of home, which is really cool, out in the real world, out in the community, because that's, in the end of the day, Swimply services communities. Who swims at my pool? It's people in my community. So it's really awesome way to market as well. So first, we'll talk about a few ways of in-app ways to market your pool. And the first way is host promotions. This is brand new. So again, if you're logging in for the first time this year, definitely check this out. Adding a promotion, you can add a promotion to your listing to get your Swimply featured in more places and to help drive bookings. Promotions will be highlighted in search results on your listing page, and all listings with promotion will be featured in a brand new deals category. So if you set a promotion on your listing, let's say I open my pool on April 1st, and I want to set for the first month of my pool being open, because I want to really drive bookings because I don't usually open it this early. I'm going to open it early to try to get some bookings. I'm going to offer 25% off. I'm offering 25% off whoever comes to whoever books my listing in the first 30 days that it opens. I really want to kick it off strong. So as you can see, you will see in search results, this first picture here is in search results. So as people are scrolling through search results, they will see, hey, this has a deal. And obviously, as we know, people click into that. So that's an awesome way to really get more eyes on your listing right away. Also, once they're on your listing page, as you can see here, it really calls out, hey, you're getting 50% off if you book it now, or in my case, it would be 25% off. And also, there's no picture here, but if you've been on the Swimply website recently, and you definitely should, if you haven't, go check it out. There are new categories at the top, and there will be an entire category called deals, which will have all the listings that have special deals on them. So if you're the first one, again, this is pretty new. So if you're the first one in your area to have one of these, you'll be right there at the top of this new deals category. So that's an entire category. Maybe there's hundreds of listings in the regular category, but if you go to the deals, there's only one. Maybe there's two, maybe there's five, maybe there's 10, but it's much less. And as we know, a lot of people, when they'll go straight to the deals category. Oh, let's see what's on sale. Let's see what I can get for a deal. And your competition will be way less there. So definitely recommend trying this out, especially as a way to kickstart your summer. All right, the next way to start off your summer, and again, recommend everyone doing this. And if you have not used the fans feature in the past, we'll talk about it. But even if you have used it in the past, kicking off your summer is the perfect way to use it. So the fans message, if you haven't used it, or maybe you don't know what it is, or maybe you're brand new, it's a way to communicate at scale with your guests and potential guests. So there's four different sections of fans, four different types of fans. There's leads, who are people who are close to booking your space, but they left at checkout. Maybe the price was too much, or they found another pool, or maybe they changed their mind last minute. You have followers, who are people who favorited your space or inquired about booking it. You have one-time guests, obviously people who have signed your guests at your listing, and repeat guests, people who book your space multiple times. So with the fans feature, what you can do is you can send a message to any or all of these groups. You can send it to only your repeat guests, only your one-time guests, all of them, only your leads. And again, what I would suggest now doing as soon as you open your pool for the summer, or if you're already open, then do it now, is send a message and an offer. Hey guys, I just opened my pool. It's heated. It's ready to go. We're throwing in free jacuzzi right now, and take 10% off your first swim of the summer to celebrate, the 2024 season. So right away, all of your fans, and you can go into your app and you can see here, this screenshot, engage with your 348 fans. So you have 348 people that you're sending a message saying, hey, we're open, we're heated. You want to give them a reason to book your pool. Again, if it's a little chilly still, you want to make sure you highlight that you're heated. If, give something away, give away a free jacuzzi, again, think it's a little bit chilly still. Maybe they're going to want the jacuzzi, and give them a discount. Hey, take 10%, take 25% off Maybe you just want to send it to your repeat guests. Hey, as a, thank you to my loyal customers, because it is really important to keep your customers loyal. Here's 50% off, something big, something good for them because they're, your loyal customers. So really important. This screenshot, just to be aware, the lead section is not live yet. It should be live in the next week or two. So right now we have these 3 categories and we're adding this one in shortly. But definitely recommend, if you have not already sent the fans message, check it out, send one. If you have already sent in the past, send another one. This is the perfect time. As soon as you open, perfect time to send a message. And the last thing we'll talk about in terms of in the app marketing is host promo codes. So promo codes allow hosts to create a special discount for guests. So, and this will tie in a little bit into the next thing that we'll talk about. But the idea is you can create any promo code for any amount for whoever you want. Maybe you have friends that want to book your pool, family, maybe social media influencers, which we'll talk about in a second. Maybe you have a really loyal guest that's come many times and you want to give him or her a special discount. You want to give them a 50% discount. You can create this and manually send it. This is more personal. Maybe you have a list of like 10 of your best guests. You want to go create them a special code for them and send them a special message. Hey, I'm open for the season. I made this code special for you. It can be their name so they know it's special. And, again, spending an hour just doing this, which, it won't even take an hour, but spending that time will almost guarantee someone book your pool. It's personalized. You send them a personalized message, a personalized code. It's, put yourself in the shoes of a swimmer. In that case, I would be like, wow, that's so nice. They thought of me. I do love their pool. You know what? I'm going to book. So whatever it is, it's worth your time to go through it, put some thought, make some codes, and send those out. So really, really cool way to market your pool as well. All of these tips that we just went through can be found under the hosting tab, under the marketing section of the hosting tab. So if anyone has any issues finding that, it's hosting, marketing. That's the way to find this. All right, moving on to kind of the next level of marketing. So we spoke about marketing in the app. You don't have to go anywhere. You got to just open up your Swimply app and you can market directly from there. It's, to me, the easiest, the lowest level lift. But now let's take it a little bit of a step further. And again, we'll have a lot more webinars specifically on social media and on Instagram because of how important it is and how useful it is to host, but just as a high level. So we've seen this, and I have an example here. This is the Orange Pool, Alex and Natalie. They are awesome hosts out in LA, and they have, really mastered the Instagram presence. So they have an account for their pool. They probably have more followers than this at this point. It's probably outdated, this screenshot. But they have gained over 1,200 followers of people that are interested in their listing. These maybe are swimmers who have swum in the past. Maybe they're swimmers' friends. Maybe people are just interested in pools and swimming. And now here you can see all their posts that are just about their pool and about listing their pool. They have, they also have, as you can see, their Swimply linked in their bio so that when people do come here, they see the pictures, they watch a story, they're like, wow, it's awesome. How do I book it? And then you have the booking, you have the link right in there for them to go book it. If you do create an account, you want to make sure to post at least 6 photos of your pool. You can see here they have way more than 6 photos, but make sure, keep it colorful, keep it bright, keep it inviting. A lot of these have swimmers in them, as you can see.
When you say social media, I don't know which one he's talking about. Is he talking about Instagram? Kind of looks like Instagram setting.
This is Instagram, yes. Or yeah, this is Instagram that we're talking about. Get on the gram.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Sorry, I didn't clarify that. Yeah, this is an Instagram account here. You can also, create a TikTok account. That's like even more advanced. But yeah, get all over any social media. This specific example is Instagram. So, you want to create an account, make a catchy name, link your Swimply pool in the bio, post at least 6 photos, keep it interesting, keep it engaging, keep it colorful, keep it fun. It's Instagram. It's all about pictures. It's about fun pictures, not just of your pool, but of people in your pool having fun. You can do videos. As you can see, a lot of these are also videos. You can do stories, etc. You can announce your opening dates and this season's improvements. If you already have an Instagram account with some followers, you can, chat with them there. You can offer special codes and deals for summer start, special deal for my Instagram followers. Again, using that host promo code, you can create a special thing, Instagram followers, 25% off, and post it here for your Instagram followers. And one small tip, people often use social media to find events in their area. So be sure to use local hashtags to post frequent engaging stories. Pool party, kids' birthdays, mom days, mommy and me, whoever your target is, use hashtags to cover that. And again, this is a very high level overview of how to start an Instagram account. We will have many more webinars on this, so stay tuned. But again, high level, if you want to just start, it's create an account, post some great pictures of your pool, of your family enjoying your pool. And most importantly, when you do have swimmers come, have them tag your pool. This is the most important part. That's how you're going to grow. Because if, let's say, I'm at your pool and I'm swimming and I'm enjoying, and I'll, a lot of hosts will say, post and tag us and you could stay 30 minutes free extra, 15 minutes extra free. Therefore, I'm going to post me having a great time at a pool, and I'm going to tag the orange pool. And then all of my friends on Instagram that follow me will be like, wait a second, Yona doesn't have a pool. How is he swimming at a pool? It looks awesome. And they're going to see, wait a second, what's this orange pool that he tagged? They're going to click, they're going to go onto your Instagram page, which then they'll see, wow, look at this. Look at all these awesome photos. This looks great. Oh, wow, I could rent it by the hour. That's great. They're going to follow, and hopefully they will also rent your pool. So really important to make it engaging, make it a great place for your swimmers' friends to come to and go and follow yours and get you bookings as well. The next thing that is really, really useful and helps a lot, and has helped for me, has helped for many hosts, is posting on local Facebook groups. So if some of you maybe don't know, but Facebook has groups for every possible thing out there. There are groups for swimming coaches, mom groups, board on a Saturday groups. There are groups for everything. So finding the right group for yourself and posting about your pool. So for example, let's just take me, for example, I, have a lot of families and moms that come to my pool. So I'll find local moms groups for myself, and I'll post in there, hey, don't know what to do with your kids in the summer as, it's heating up. Take them swimming at a private pool that you can rent by the hour, and then link your Simply listing. Bam, just like that. I spoke to one host. She had just started her listing, and over the weekend, she had 12 bookings on the first weekend that she went live. And I spoke to her, I was like, how did you get so many bookings right away, right off the bat? And she said her daughter had posted in a local moms group, and her pool just completely exploded. She had bookings and bookings and bookings. She was completely booked right just from one post in a Facebook group. So it just shows the power of these groups. And again, there's so many groups of like different, subgroups and everything. So find local groups that your pool can cater to, and post in there. You can post once a week, once a month, and just kind of keep highlighting your pool. Another thing to highlight is our promotional postcards. This is another really cool thing. Again, like I touched on quickly, your pool is servicing your community. I have, a few blocks away are all the coffee shops near me. So with this postcard, and what this is, you can print out a postcard, and as you can see here, this QR code will link directly to your Simply listing. So you can print this out. I print out usually 50 or 100 at a time, and then you can leave it at local coffee shops. And from there, again, for me, moms will be getting their coffee with their kids, and they'll pick this up. Wait a second, I can book a private pool by the hour? That's awesome. And they'll scan this code, and it will link them directly to my pool page. They'll be like, wow, this looks great. Book it from there. So again, you can access directly in your Simply app. Again, in the marketing tab, you can go to the postcards. Just before anyone tries right now it's not working, but it will be available in the next 1 to 2 weeks. So just wait a little bit and you will be able to. It will pull up this design right here, again, with a unique QR code. And then you can either print them at home, or I just printed at local like Staples. They print it for me on a postcard size. It's really good. It's high quality, a few dollars. And then I leave them at coffee shops. I give them out. And again, you can see tons of people who I ask, hey, how'd you hear about my pool? And say, oh, I saw the postcard. So this is something I definitely recommend. As summer starts heating up, people are looking for things to do. Definitely check it out. Create your postcard and put it out. Give it away to everyone you see. And finally, what I'll say before we get to the Q&A session is join our Facebook group. Please join our Facebook group. It's where this conversation continues. It's where I learn the most about hosting, where I learn the most from other hosts. It's a place where we can all come together, ask questions, learn from each other, give advice. So if you're not already in the Facebook group, please join. Ariana will link it in the chat. And if you are not already in the Facebook group, it is awesome. Say hi. It's where this conversation continues. So looking forward to seeing all you guys there. Alrighty, let's get to the pre-submitted questions. So the first one that we have submitted is, how can I also list my home this season? I love this question because we just recently launched. We launched in LA. We launched a homes category. And maybe that's why this question came up. Maybe you saw that homes category. And the reason we launched is because we saw a ton of demand for people, I'm making a birthday party. Can I also use the interior of your home? Maybe for, filming, for social media, etc. So we launched a new category. And if you are interested in listing your home, you can go on the Simply app and you can do list my home. It's one of the options, or on the website, and you can list your home straight from there. How do you handle prohibited or undesirable activities? Great question. Whoever asked this, that is a really awesome question and something that should be discussed. So this is something, and usually Lauren, who is my fellow co-host, and we're looking forward to have her host these, she usually is the one to kind of really, be the strong one here. But I'll try to channel my inner Lauren. I don't know, Lauren, if you're in the crowd here, but I'll channel my inner Lauren here and say, as a homeowner and as a host and as a business owner, we have to stand up for our property at some point. If someone is breaking your rules, if they're drinking alcohol when you clearly say you cannot drink alcohol, we have to go back there and be like, hey, I'm so sorry. I don't know if you saw the rule, but there is no alcohol allowed on my pool. The same way, if you're at a hotel and you're breaking the rules, the manager is going to come to you and say, hey, you cannot do this in our hotel. And if it needs be, you can ask them to leave. We have to remember, this is our property. It's our business. We are responsible. And if people are breaking the rules, we can go out there and tell them, hey, this is not allowed. You need to stop this or leave. So again, just, remember, this is your property. It is your business. And, just to go out there and communicate. Usually communicating will solve any issues. Is a pool heater a good investment? What about a barbecue or other pricey amenities? Great question. I personally have a pool heater, and I think that is what drives a large amount of my bookings. People like the heated pool, especially in New York, where sometimes it can get chilly. I've also heard from a lot of hosts that is the first thing they'll invest in is, hey, we did Simply for a season. We invested in a pool heater and our bookings doubled the next season. So I would say it is a good investment. And the other thing I would say is it also, you can benefit from it. So if you get a nice barbecue or, a pool heater, now you can benefit from a heated pool, and you can have Simply hopefully pay off that cost, or maybe most of that cost, or maybe half that cost. And you can then have that. I personally invested in a large fire pit, like a gas fire pit, and I have it as an amenity, and I get to use that now, and I love it. And it's a paid amenity, so whenever people do book it, it gives me $20 towards the cost of that thing. So after a few people have booked it, I've now paid off my cost, and I get to use it forever now. And it's an amenity that guests can enjoy as well. So obviously every person, every situation is different, but for me, I would say if it's something that you want as well for yourself, you can't go wrong, because you're going to enjoy it, and you hopefully will get it paid off as well. Next question is, can guests extend or edit reservations during a booking, and can I do it from my end? The answer is yes and yes. Guests can extend their reservation. You'll ask them, when do they want to extend? They'll ask them for a payment, and then you would need to accept that change. Or, because sometimes guests don't know how to use the app as well, we can also make a change for the guests, and then the guests will accept it on their end. So, we can say, if we're chatting and they say, hey, could we stay an extra hour? We can make the change. They would need to accept it. They would get charged for it when they accept it. So it's really easy in case they don't know how to use the app. So definitely check it out next time, but you can definitely do it on your own. Next question is, what should I do about a bathroom for guests? Great question. I would suggest offering some kind of bathroom if possible. I personally have a side door that opens up to my home, and there's a bathroom there that they use. I've seen a lot of hosts, even most hosts do that. Some hosts have gotten bathrooms and sheds on Amazon and built kind of outdoor bathrooms. Some hosts have gotten porta potties. There are plenty of companies that will deliver a porta potty. They'll clean it every week for you, and they'll get rid of it at the end of the season. It's pretty easy to find. Just Google porta potty near me. It's definitely, I think, if a family is coming for more than a few hours, they will need somewhere to go to the bathroom. So I would suggest that. Next question is, can my spouse log into my Simply account? How can we both manage listing and message guests? Great question. And, this happens a lot. I myself co-host my pool. So the best way to do this is actually just share the email and the password, and then you can log in, and then you both will get the push notifications, and you can both log into the app and answer messages there. All right. Awesome. I will stop talking now and give the floor to firstly Ariana to call out anything in the chat that was not responded to, but then more importantly, we will pass on the floor to you guys to ask any questions that you have.
Thank you, Yona. Yeah, we had 3 questions in the chat I would love for you to touch on. The first being promo codes. When they send a promo code, can the email title change when they send it out? For now, it just says the name of the host gave you a 10% discount. And this host was saying they'd love to be able to change per special, like free heating this weekend only.
Great question. Right now, you're saying when you send out a fans feature, I assume?
Yeah.
Yeah, got it. Right now, you cannot. It's just the way it is. It's like sending an email that's already pre-programmed, and then it's like pulling certain things. I will mention maybe to the team to adding a field there in the fans feature that's like, subject, email subject, and then we can probably pull that data and put that in there as the subject line. So right now there is no way to do it, but I will chat with the lifecycle team and the product team to see if we can create a new field in the fans feature, and then that would then pull into be the subject line of the email.
Well, thank you.
Great
The
question.
second was, do you recommend being set up as an LLC or just as a personal host?
I would say definitely talk to your accountant about it. Or you can also ask in the Facebook group. There's a lot of like smarter people than I am at that in the Facebook group. But from what I hear, there are definitely benefits to having an LLC. I think you can, again, not tax advice, but I think you could then put your pool under that LLC and, deduct the costs there. I'm not so knowledgeable in this stuff, so definitely talk to your accountant, but also some people in the Facebook group are really, really knowledgeable about these things as well. So probably a good question to ask there.
Thank you. And lastly, just regarding alcohol, a host said, I don't care if they drink, but what if they've been drinking and try to drive, etc.? What's my responsibility there as far as protection coverage?
Got it. I would say the main thing is not to serve the alcohol. That's where kind of some of these things like famously bars are liable if someone drives home drunk and gets in that accident, from a bar because they're the ones serving the alcohol. So it's important not to serve the alcohol. That's the most important thing. As for, if they're drinking, it's just probably not ideal to have people drinking too much, and obviously people should be responsible and not drive if they drink. But the one thing is, if an injury does happen and there's the simply protection guarantee, if an injury does arise due to alcohol consumption, which means like they were too drunk to stand and they fell and hurt themselves because of that, it would not be covered, but mainly because the guest in that case would not be able to sue you. So that's kind of, it's not that you're not covered, it's the guest is not covered in that situation because it was them, as long as you weren't the one to serve them the alcohol. So really important not to serve the alcohol. But besides for that, you should be fine. As a general rule, you don't want people drinking too much. So like I will look away if people have a beer, but if I see, hard alcohol, etc., I'll usually, so my rules officially are no alcohol, but I'd look away until I think it's too much, and then I'll go out and say something.
Well, that was it on my end.
Cool. Awesome. Well, can't wait to open it up to you guys. If anyone does have a question, if you can use the raise hand feature, that would be the easiest to, and then we'll go through this together. All right. First one is iPhone. iPhone? I'm sorry, I don't.
Yes, I think it's me. I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. What's your name? Sorry.
Okay, my name's Yolanda. I'm from
Hey.
Maryland. How are you?
Good. How are you? Thanks for joining.
Fine. So my question is it okay to still create like a agreement contract kind of? So you set your rules and you have them like I was thinking about having them sign it. It just make sure letting them know that I'm not responsible and they have to, cover their self if something break. So I have kind of an agreement I wrote up. I thought about doing this summer and having them sign it.
Mhm.
Just something letting them know that they're liable for, what they can do. Like I am in the agreement. Also, I have just saying I don't know, like if their party is from 1 to 3, they have at least 30 minutes to leave the premises. So that would be in the agreement. Things like that.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah, for sure. It is not needed, but it is definitely okay. And also, I just saw someone post about this recently. If you go into, again, the Facebook group, there are actually hosts have shared some of the examples that they use that they've had like lawyers draft up, and what they use. So feel free to go in there and grab some of those. But yeah, for sure, many hosts require people to sign a waiver. Again, not needed, but if you do want that and it makes you feel more comfortable, absolutely you can have that
Thank you.
for sure. All right, thank you. Melissa.
Hey, thanks for having this call. This
course.
is our second year hosting, so we had past guests, and I went to message them as we were going through all this, and I put in a promo code. The only thing I put in the free text was, book early and save for 2024. And when I go to the inbox to see what was sent to them, it only says book early and save. I don't actually see the code that was sent to them that I created. So is that just a view that they can see and I can't?
I will double check. I think they see like Melissa sent you a fans promo.
Yeah, it says you sent a fan's promo, but I can't like do anything about it. So I can't click on it or tap it. I don't know.
So
Like what do they see if they tap on it?
good question. Let me double check exactly because I know we were changing a few things, but I think they should be able to click on it and it will show them the promo, the actual like promo that was sent.
Mhm.
But let me double check. If not, that's a good call out, and I'll make sure that that is included automatically of like what the actual promo is. But I will double check that and get back to you. If you want to just DM me your email, I can make sure to also just circle
Sure.
back.
Yep, terrific. Thank you.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you, Melissa. All right, Denise.
Yes, hello. Glad
Hey,
you're having this. I'm from New Jersey, so I know your weather in New York.
there we
It's
go. Well,
cold.
hopefully we're getting there. Today was a cold one, but hopefully we're getting closer.
28 when we woke up. So just a couple things. One, I did just pause my pool because I thought we were supposed to unpause it. But you said not to, so I unpaused it, but then it warned me that people can't book at all. So am I doing something wrong? It's
No, while you're paused, they cannot book. So I don't know when you pause until I assume right now your pool is not open. So if
It's
you
not
pause,
open, but how
yes,
do they book in advance? That's what I'm
they
at.
they can book in advance. Yeah, I'm sorry if
Oh,
that wasn't clear. During
oh.
the pause date, they can't, but whenever you unpause, they can book in advance for them.
Well, if I unpause, but then I'm not open right now. So what do I have to do? Black out the dates?
You can manually block out the dates, but that's why I would recommend if you're still going to be closed for a month plus, it's just annoying to click every date. So it's easier to pause and say your unpause date for, let's just say, May 15th or whenever you
Oh,
plan to open.
oh, there's a feature for unpause date. I did not know that.
No, when you pause, you're forced to select an unpause date. I don't know, maybe you missed
Oh,
it, but it forces you to select a date that you're going to unpause. So
I
double
didn't
check
see
that
that.
date.
Yeah.
Double check that date and make sure that's whatever date you plan to open your pool.
Perfect, perfect. Okay, and then the other thing, I had trouble with pictures last year. So when I would took all these great pictures and I can't get them on there because of the size. It says I took them with my iPhone and it said, "Oh yeah, this is not they wouldn't accept it." So
Interesting.
yeah, so I
For
guess yeah.
I would say the only time I've seen that, try again. It should work. There shouldn't be any issue. If there is, again, shoot me an email. yona@something.com if there is an issue, YONA@something.com if there is an issue.
Okay.
It should work. The only time I've seen an issue like that is if you transfer the photos from your iPhone to your Mac, it will transfer them in what is called an HEIC, which is
Yeah.
somewhat of like a mini movie because of the live photo thing on iPhone. And then you'll have to transfer it back to a JPEG or a PNG. Again, the easiest way to work around this is just get the app and upload it directly from your phone and not transfer it. But
I
that
probably-
could have been the issue.
Yeah, the computer. Okay, I have the app, but I figured, oh, it's easier on the computer, but I'll try the app. Okay.
It probably made it a HIEC or whatever that is. And then you can switch them on your Mac to JPEG or PNG, but it's.
But it works on the app.
Yeah. If you
Okay.
just convert it to it's an extra step that I'm not sure if you know how to do. It's pretty easy. If you click on the picture, you can go to like quick actions and change format, but it may be easier to just directly do it from the phone.
From the phone. So when I take the picture on the phone, it should accept it. That's what you're
If
saying?
you upload it, yeah, on the app, go directly. Yes.
Okay. Okay. And then the other thing is contact. I'm very interested in getting a hold of you guys because last year I had emails sent in and they were like crickets. Like, so you say that's better now?
Yeah. I'm not sure if we didn't touch on it this webinar. We touched on it quickly last week. But we spent a lot of time doing a few things. We are going to eventually be leaning more into, and we know it didn't work in the past. So before you jump on me, the bot so we spent a lot of time. It didn't work, and it doesn't work even current. I mean, it works, but it's not great.
Right.
So we spent a lot of time and effort, and we're still completely rebuilding that. With the new AI, it is possible to get a really good bot. We're not there yet, but we're looking to get there eventually. So that's step one. Eventually, we'll get to that point. And the idea is not that the bot will necessarily answer every question you have, because sometimes you do need to speak to someone.
Right.
But it will route you to, if you do have a question that can be answered, great, it'll answer it. If you have a question that it can answer, it will route you to the right person. So hopefully getting to that point. Until then, we're also going to have much more people hired and available on the weekends, especially, and on holidays, etc. Because that obviously, was an issue last year. It was on the important days was when we didn't have enough coverage. So we're working to, have way more people on the right days now. But until we get to that point where the bot, we're comfortable with it and we know it's operating where we want it to be, we are going to have our email hostcare@something.com open. We're going to keep that available. And again, we currently are at like 1 hour response times for any emails sent in there. So, and we're looking to keep that number right around there. So,
and you're not having a customer service where you can call and talk?
A number at this point, we are not going to have, just because we don't want to have a number and not be able to staff it. And then you're just calling and getting voicemails. And, that's the worst case scenario. We want to at least be able to get it. If we can do a live chat, great. If not, you'll get a response within the hour, have it at least tracked versus like you're calling, there's no one answering, you're never getting heard back. That's, black hole. We're still small. Eventually, hopefully we're there. We're still a small company.
We're getting big. Okay.
Hopefully we will get there soon. But for now, we're committed to like, okay, we're going to have all the tickets. It will be answered quickly. If it's an hour, great.
Okay.
So that's kind of the goal for this year.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. All right. Great.
Awesome. Thank you, Denise.
Hello?
Yeah, Julia, I see it.
Hello?
Hello. Did
Hey.
you say Julia?
Yeah. Hey, Julia.
Hi. My question is, I'm in Maryland where we're starting to get a bit warmer out of our cold season, about 60 degrees. And I wanted to know, is there a way of telling if pools in my area are being booked? I'm not sure how I compare to other pools in the area, if I'm opening early or too early.
Good question. That's actually a great question. I would suggest a few things. You can look on the as a guest, you can log in as a guest and try to look into see the other pools around you. It's always good to see what they're charging, see what they're offering, but you can also see like their reviews, and you can see if they have recent reviews. Like if they do have recent reviews, it will say like 5 days ago, 1 day ago, you will see that if there is. also like, and this is the power of like community, I would suggest, again, going back to that Facebook group, and I think happens to be, I think Maryland DMV has their own Facebook group, which is really cool. So definitely look for that. But like ask, hey, anyone here from DMV that is getting bookings already? And see what people say. Cause I don't know every single place in the country of where they're getting right now. But that's the power of community here as well. Awesome. Thanks, Julia. All right. Bev?
Hey, how are ya?
Oh, hey, Bev.
I was just gonna say everybody should have a pro host, and that's just somebody who's been doing this for a while. So you can reach out to your pro host. I haven't got, well, I take that back. I did get somebody that's in Ohio. I'm in Michigan. That's just starting their pool, that kind of thing. So really reach out to those pro hosts. Because a lot of the little questions we can answer for you, we can help you out because we've been doing this and probably have seen just about everything that you don't want to see. So it's, those little questions, instead of trying to call and get a hold of somebody, if it's like, hey, they have too many people, what do I do? Then we can kind of walk you through with our experience. But really grab onto those pro hosts, because that's what we're here for. We don't get paid, we don't get anything. Well, we get a badge, but I mean, that's it. So, but we're here to help everybody and to just kind of field questions and issues.
Exactly. Thanks, Bev. And Bev highlighted a program we kind of piloted last year. So it definitely, it was the first time we've ever done something like that. And we're looking to kind of tweak it for the summer and hopefully make it better for everyone involved. But yeah, we have, many hosts around the country who have agreed to kind of help out other hosts. Just, again, that real power of community. Bev is up in Detroit. But yeah, there are many hosts that are out there willing to help you, looking to help you. You can, we have like a webpage where you can find your local pro host if you have one. But also, again, don't be afraid to ask in the Facebook group as well. All the pros are in the Facebook group, so they'll see your questions. If you say, hey, I'm in Detroit, Bev will see it, she'll be in there. And the same with other markets. So, just again, thank you, Bev, for, everything, but also just highlighting that like power of community. So lean on some of the people that have been around and hosting for many years. They've seen all the good, all the bad, and everything in between. Awesome. Jacqueline, am I saying that right?
Yep. Hi.
Hello.
So I have a question. I'm in Connecticut, so not too far from you.
Awesome.
And I've been getting these, I think this is like a new thing, these notifications popping up saying, we're seeing a spike in bookings near you. Double check your availability, which I don't think anybody is booking near me, but I don't know. I looked at the pools in my area and I think all but one are currently paused. So until sometime in May. Is this just kind of a generic thing that's going out, or are pools actually getting booked in my area? Is there a way of knowing that?
So I think that this was a life cycle campaign, so I have a little bit less insight, but I think the idea here is to make sure that hosts are ready for the bookings. I think it was supposed to be more tailored to per market. I can look into it, but the idea here is to make sure that as hosts we're ready for bookings, because what we are seeing, what I can say again, is we're seeing an earlier spike, like I said, of bookings last year. And unfortunately, what we're seeing alongside with that is we are also seeing higher host cancellations because hosts are not ready for bookings, didn't realize that their listing was actually available and live, and they're having to cancel on bookings. So we're seeing a spike in that along with the spike in bookings. So some of these comms were to kind of prevent that, to make sure, hey, if you are not available, make sure you're paused. If if you're able to open, great, open, because we are seeing that early spike. So it was more kind of general and less targeted. We're looking to do more targeted pushes in over the next little bit. But as these were more like kind of general, like we are seeing it earlier. It's like seems to be everything moved a month earlier. Like the amount of bookings we're seeing now, we were seeing a month later, last year. So we're seeing that spike earlier. So that's kind of why those were sent out.
So I went in as a guest and I searched, for pools in the area. And I did notice where I don't think I saw it last year. It says when it becomes available.
Mhm.
So in theory, a guest could go on right now and book my pool or one of those pools for a time after that date, right?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
okay.
As long as your advance notice is set up correctly and everything we covered in this. But yes, and that's the idea.
Okay, good. I do have one more question. I think it was maybe sort of touched on with the waivers and whatnot.
Sure.
We got a trampoline last year. I wasn't planning on, letting guests use it, but we've had several inquiries, and I know it's technically not something that's covered, but other people that do have it, is there a way, like, if we were to just have them sign a waiver, is that good enough, or is there some other way that we could allow guests to use it and, be safe, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely the waiver definitely helps. I would say like it's not 100%, and that's why we have our coverage, because it's not 100% a waiver. But it definitely helps. I will also, I mean, yeah, Ariana can link the kind of the full terms of our policy. I think you're correct that trampolines are not covered, but I'm not 100% sure. So, double check in our policy. It could be, maybe they are, but that's what I would say. And yeah, if you see people are being safe and they're not being too rowdy, you can kind of let them use it if they sign the waiver. But I would also proceed with caution there.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome.
Laura?
Oh, CNC.
Hi, my name is Casey, and
Oh,
I have
Casey. Hi.
sorry, I have a lag in the phone here, but we just signed up, so we're first time rental.
Welcome.
Thank you. And I have a question for the community that's on here. What's been the experience with your neighbors in
Great
terms of?
question. Great question. And I mean, I can speak to that a little bit, and then I can open the floor if anyone has any other tips. I live on a quiet dead end block. It's a quiet street, so people do notice when cars that are not usually there are all of a sudden pulling in there, and families are coming out with floaties and stuff. So it's my recommendation would be not to necessarily try to hide it from your neighbors unless you think you can get away with that. But rather, I would say speak to your neighbors, invite them over to your pool. Maybe they don't have a pool, invite them over, give them, I've seen a lot of hosts like sending over gifts, make them aware of the rules you have in place so that it shouldn't bother them. Hey, I only allow 2 cars at a time. I make them park in my driveway. I don't allow loud music. I don't allow bookings past X time. Show them that it's not just a free for all, and you have rules in place so that they hopefully will not be affected at all. And then, that should ease their mind rather than kind of like trying to hide it from them. And then they're like, wait a second, what's going on? This person's, throwing parties all day, so that would be my personal advice. But yeah, I don't know if anyone else has anything to share.
Hello.
Yep.
Okay, my name is Crystal, and
Hello.
I'm here in the great state of Georgia.
Oh,
I am in Atlanta, and I am actually from Michigan. So talk about shocking. But anyway, so what I have done is made an agreement with my neighbors, and they can come over. I even hired one of my neighbors because she was in college. So when she's home during the summer, I've hired her to help with, I showed her how to clean the pool, how to clean the bathroom, and I've hired her little brother who's in high school to mow the lawn. And so I've kind of made it almost a family thing where the neighbors directly on each side of me and across the street, the 3 houses across the street, are a part of the family, the pool family, because they
wow.
don't have pools. The only nearest pool from me is 2 or 3 doors down. So, and they're old, they don't use it. So I'm their go-to person. So that made it very comfortable. The only problem I had is one of my neighbors passed away and moved. And so, anyway, And so somebody else came and didn't know what was going on, and I had a problem with him. But then I went over and spoke to him. And so you really have to have that open communication.
There we go. Crystal, I love that. First of all, love what you're doing and kind of bringing them into the business. We actually, I mean, Ariana's working on a little project on kind of reaching out to some hosts that do this, and college students or high school students that kind of run the pool. So maybe you guys should connect as well. But yeah, definitely, I love what you said. Communication is key. Open communication.
Key. It's key.
Yeah.
So, and I have some other neighbors that do rent from me, but I'm talking them into putting the pool back in their yard, and then their daughters get in a pool. I've already given her the information to get a pool. So that it is kind of a community thing.
Awesome. I
And
love it.
it really works well when we have music. I also agreed that after a certain time, music is cut off.
Mm-hmm.
And that is it. And I always tell when I welcome people in, I make sure they understand that music cannot be ridiculous. We're in a neighborhood. Come on, common sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so that works for them. I can safely say that I had a way better year when the pandemic was in, because everybody needed a pool and I was up for it. And I had somebody almost every day. And that was wonderful money-wise. But now that it's over, it's kind of slowed down a little bit, but it's still great money. So, just that personable thing when you're walking in and everybody's waving to the people coming in, it really works.
I love it. Thank you for sharing that, Crystal. All right, awesome. So Casey, I hope that answered your question.
Yes, it does. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Well, the thanks goes to Crystal, not me, because I feel like gave a much better answer than I did.
Yes, thank you, Crystal.
All right, Aura.
Yeah, hi. A quick question. I was creating a promo code, and it asks for a date when I do that. Is that the date where the promo code is active for them to use it, or when the pool or when they'll actually make the booking?
That would be the expiration date of the promo code. So they could still make the booking for a different date, but that would be the expiration date for that promo code.
Okay. So they could make the booking anywhere within your, let's say 3-month window that you have.
Yeah,
it. Okay.
whatever when exactly. Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. And all right, it looks like Sandy is the last question.
Yeah, I was wondering about, I've noticed a lot of pools say no headfirst diving. We have a 9-foot pool and I'm brand new. We're just starting this season.
Oh, awesome. Welcome.
What are your thoughts on diving in a pool that deep? Is it still a liability? Should we just say feet first or?
A good question. Where are you located? I'm just curious.
Oregon.
Awesome. Oh, wow. Portland?
Just outside of Portland.
Cool. Portland pools crush it. So I don't know what it is in the water of Portland, but
there's not many pools here.
Yeah, no.
So in fact, we would be the only one in our city. So
that's awesome. Well, I hope you crush it. Yeah, I would say I would probably just, like, as a host, I would err on the side of caution and just, no diving, just better safe than sorry. People can still have a great time. Is what my personal recommendation would be.
Okay. And then I was also wondering, kind of back to, maybe Crystal could answer this too, but what would it charge? What do you charge for, like, somebody, a neighbor or something, to come in and help? Do you like say, hey, I'll pay you with the pool to swim? Do you trade, or do you actually pay them?
Okay. This is Crystal again. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I actually do both.
Okay.
The kids rather swim in it than get paid, then I let them swim. The others, I do have people I do actually train and teach, and I do pay them to assist.
Okay. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Crystal. Crystal, you're giving the next webinar.
And just a quick question for Crystal. Yeah, she should really. So when you invite your neighbors to come over, you said it's a family thing. Are they paying, or they're just coming and swimming anytime?
Oh no, they call me, they ask permission to swim, they tell me what time, and I tell them if I can or can't do it, because I might have an actual swimply. But if I don't have a swimply, they're more than welcome, and they don't pay because they're allowing me to have the swimply. They know the whole thing. They know I'm getting paid. They know it's a service.
Okay.
And so it's kind of an even trade. Yes.
So it keeps the jealousy down, because I have a neighbor, he was my best neighbor. And last year, one of my guests went to his house, opened his gate, and he had his underwear on. And he was so upset. And he freaked out on me when it was just one woman. And then I had two more that were there. And she took a taxi to the wrong house, older woman. And he freaked out on me. And we've had a little bit of like, I was so hurt because he was my best neighbor that he did that. So now you're encouraging me to go there and say, I had no idea that happened. And that I do have rules and all that. And I just want to make nice with him because he's right next door. And he's the one that I would say would never get upset with me or freak out. And he did. And I want a good rapport with him. So, and I did offer him to swim before. So I will do that again. And thanks, Crystal.
No problem. I would even say, to make it even more personable,
yeah,
have maybe a couple other neighbors, or have some people that he knows that and have a little gathering back there, and have him come in along with them.
That's a good idea. Yeah. Well, his main complaint is you should have a sign so they know. But first of all, I don't want the township, like people reporting me, right? And I know that could happen because I had a pet sitting business years ago and I got shut down. And then the other thing is it still won't prevent people from going to the wrong house. I guess I just really have to make it clear. So what do you guys think about putting a sign in front of your house? Pool here, swimly. Do you do that, Crystal?
No sign.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Right?
I
Right.
do.
One, it would
I purchased
really
my
ugly
sign
the
from
yard.
Swimply.
What's this now? I didn't hear that.
I purchased my sign from Swimply. I posted on my fence on the entrance, and I added that picture to the website. So when you see my listing, they know exactly where to go. They have instructions for where to get into the yard.
Okay.
And there's pictures of it, so there's no confusion. I don't mind posting that welcome to my Swimply sign. I think that it does look nice hanging on my sign.
But it could invoke people reporting you. And I know this is like a tricky thing, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't live in an HOA community.
I don't either. Yeah.
And I reached out to a lawyer. I had one issue with a neighbor, but this neighbor was out of line, and I reached out to a lawyer who wrote up a cease and desist. I'm doing everything well within my rights, and there's no law that says that I cannot rent out my pool here.
Okay.
So I know I'm well within my rights, and I have lawyer backing. And usually when a neighbor receives that letter, they understand, okay, she's following the law and she is backed by a lawyer. I should leave her alone because this is harassment.
Okay, so you take the sign down after they come, right? And then put it back up. No, you leave it?
No, it's decor. I leave it up.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I don't think I'd do that, but thank you. Thanks for that tip. Yeah.
Denise, that's interesting. Okay. So I have a big welcome sign on the gate that they come into, but I don't have, that's nice. I should get a Swimply sign, but in saying that, where they come in is kind of secluded, so you can't drive by and see it. Just if you're driving by, you're not going to really notice it.
Right.
So you could do something like that where it's near the entrance of the door, the little sign, and that would work.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it would be on our street. Our driveway goes up to our street. It's a long driveway. They can all park there. And I did say that to them. But I guess I have to do that. I was starting to put tubes on the fence so they would see it and stuff, but
Denise is talking in code, simply code.
yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, I like the idea. I put last year, took some pictures from the street view kind of, so you could see what the entrance looked like. And then I posted those on my, because there's a place you can post for instructions
Yes.
of how to get there. And so I put those there, and I think that's helpful. And I, like you, was a little nervous about putting a big Swimply sign out.
Yeah.
And I just put like a little welcome sign on my gate. And I usually, if I know somebody's coming, I'll often just go and prop the gate open and, greet them.
Okay, that sounds good. Yeah. And
Yeah,
the picture. Yeah.
and I'll just call out, just like you see some of these some of the comments about, if you do live in an HOA, it is a little different. So like as Julia was saying, like, you're within your rights there. HOAs, why I would never suggest living in an HOA, they can make their own laws. That's the problem with HOAs, in my opinion. So they can create a law and say you can't do this, and that's the end of it. So if you do live in HOA, it's a little bit of a different scenario where they can create laws. So, if they see something and they have enough complaints, then they'll create a new law that you can't do it, and then all of a sudden you can't do it. So it is a little.
Can I jump in real quick?
Yeah, for sure.
Sorry. My HOA president lives 2 doors down from me and has a pool. One of my guests went to his house. So.
I was swimming?
Well, they didn't get in the yard, so thank God. And he doesn't like us anyway, but that's another story. So all of that, putting the sign out and all that stuff is all sweet and good and stuff. People don't read. They're not going to read the parking thing. They don't do it. So I stand by the window, wait till I see a car creeping down the road, and then wait to see, because I've got 2 pools, like 1 house away. And it doesn't matter what you say. I mean, I have pictures, I have diagrams, everything, park here. Because I've got a neighbor who I dearly love, but gets miffed if you step on her grass. That it's going to happen. Just know the people that are coming, they don't have pools. They don't understand all that kind of stuff. So the easiest thing is let your neighbors come for free. I mean, all of my neighbors, they know that if I get a swim plate, you're out. I mean, that's just, they know. I don't charge them. I don't ask them to do anything. So that's the first thing if you have a neighbor situation. And the HOA thing, our president didn't say anything. I don't know if I'm supposed to do it or not, but he does not like it. And texts me all the time if people are screaming, blah, blah, blah. 4 or 1 o'clock in the afternoon, he's yelling at me because kids are screaming in the pool. We get a lot of special needs kids because we have a waterfall and stuff. And I'm not going to tell a mom with a special need kid, I'm sorry, he can't scream in the backyard. So, you just be honest with your neighbors. Something happens, take care of it right away. Don't put it off. And just know that the people that are coming, they just want to come and swim. They're not going to read where to park, what gate to open. Nobody knows how to open a gate to a pool for some reason. So I just wait. When I see them, I go around back, I go up, I let them in, show them how to do it. They come in and everything's fine. Make sense?
For sure. Thank you, Bev. Yeah, that does make sense. That's really helpful. All right. I'm laughing. They don't know how to open the gates. No one knows how to open the pool gates. Cool. Awesome. I think we got to all the questions. We're also 30 minutes over time, but time flies when you're having fun with awesome people. I want to, thank you so much. Ariana has been quietly running everything on the chat. Couldn't do this without your help. So thank you. Thank you all for coming. We're going to be doing a lot more of these. Like I said, one that I'm really excited about is this pool maintenance one with Matt. Again, he is an expert. You can check out his website, Swim University. He has like a ton of really cool stuff. And I know like as Swimply hosts, maybe you have a pool guy, maybe you don't, but we need to do our own maintenance also. Just, big weekends, pool gets cloudy. So he will really, really help there. So feel free to sign up to that. And if you have any questions for him specifically, he specifically said, hey, any questions people have, I'll answer. So when you sign up, if you have a question, put it in there. We'll make sure to put it in the deck so that he gets to it as well. So looking forward to that one. And many more webinars throughout the summer and an awesome season for everyone. So thank you for joining, and we will talk soon.
Thank you, guys.